Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. At AM 630. WMAL.
6:37. Happy Friday to you. I do want to read this text from the 703 just to put a button on this drone story.
Oh, we're still going. Okay.
He just says there's an air show at Andrews this weekend.
Right.
And various planes are doing practice runs throughout
That's
the
true.
area. It might explain some odd sightings.
Yeah.
So it's possible that's what was going on in my neighborhood. It may have been just, the head of the NSA flying a private jet.
We had a very spirited discussion during the news about this issue, and all I'm saying here is, look, there may be very good reasons to do this. I got no issue with that. All I'm saying is, why does it have to be a secret what's going on? Why can't we get answers to these questions? And shouldn't we have a discussion about this matter? Because some people do have legitimate privacy concerns. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in black helicopters. I just say there's some evidence out here that something may be going on, and maybe somebody who's in a position to know should tell us what's going on.
And moving on, Lanny Davis joins us, former Clinton White House Counsel. Lanny, good morning. How are you?
Morning, everyone. How are you?
We're doing well. I have to ask you, Ed Klein has this new book out called The Amateur, and the title comes from something that apparently former President Bill Clinton said about Barack Obama, believing that, in fact, our current president is an amateur, and even encouraged his wife Hillary to run against him in 2012. What do you know about this, Lanny Davis?
I know that Mr. Klein doesn't have much credibility. He writes hate material, and I also don't believe him. Aside from that, he's a very nice man.
Is that right? So you just chalk up that, hey, there's nothing to this?
I just don't believe him. I certainly know that President Clinton has high regard for President Obama. I also know that Secretary of State Clinton has done a great job in her position, and she's ready to get some sleep.
Well, I would say to you that
she worked hard.
that the White House came after Ed Klein on the comments that were attributed to Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Turns out there's a tape that backs up everything that he has reported. So I just lay that out there for what it's worth.
Is there a tape of Bill Clinton saying what Mr. Klein said?
No, but we talked to him, and he claims that he has two sources that were in the room when it was said.
Two sources who are not named, and we're supposed to rely on Mr. Klein, and two anonymous sources. Let's go to the National Enquirer, where Martians just landed in my backyard. And two people told me
wait a second. So you're saying that if you have two sources in a room, then you can't write that, you can't report that? Because I got a feeling that there are a lot of newspaper reports that have gone out in the last 2 years, or perhaps even longer than that.
Can I report anonymous sources when you have a history of not having credibility and hate material, which Mr. Klein has certainly written about Mr. Clinton? And beyond that, if he's going to use anonymous sources, then who are these anonymous sources, and why are they anonymous, and why is he using them?
All right, what?
That's not a journalist. That's about Martians landing in my backyard.
Okay.
Oh, so if Bob Woodward does it, it's okay.
Fine with me, just as long as the next story that comes out that's either on Mitt Romney or some Republican that has two unnamed sources, as long as you take that same position, I'll be fine.
I think unnamed sources, unless it really involves criminal and retaliatory issues, and you explain why they're anonymous, and that's what the ground rules are in the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. Anonymous sources are not fair game. But I'd like you to prove to me right now that there aren't Martians standing in my backyard.
Okay. Well, we'll send up the drones. And
That's right. So we're going to drone over your house right away.
Speaking of drones, I agree. I don't want any drones looking down at me. I don't exactly like being looked at.
Yeah, because we know what you're doing in your backyard. All right, I want to talk to you about Bain Capital, because the Obama campaign put out an ad that was very critical of Bain Capital and when Romney was, and they seemed to claim that Romney was responsible for the loss of some 700 jobs over at GST Steel. The evidence seemed to suggest he wasn't there then, that in fact the person in charge of it was actually someone who was an Obama bundler. But let that aside for the moment. Let's talk about GM. Now, you may have saved some jobs in the auto industry, but it is also true that in the process, 112,000 people who work for dealerships around the country lost their jobs.
I don't like the Bain Capital ad. I think that President Obama is going to win the election because he's right on issues. He's right on Obamacare. He was right on the stimulus. He's right on cutting payroll taxes and infrastructure jobs. I believe he's right on the gay marriage position he took. He can win this on the issues. The Bain Capital ad is a bogus issue. There are restructuring firms with Democrats heading those restructuring firms that save companies, as Mr. Romney did. There are also equity decisions made where companies don't make it, where the products aren't selling, where labor costs are too high, and for a variety of reasons, the companies have to be put into bankruptcy. That is the free market system. I'm a pretty liberal person. You know my positions are pretty liberal. I think the Bain Capital ad is a big mistake by President Obama. It's beneath him, and I would recommend that he withdraw it.
Wow. All right. How about that? We kind of would agree with that on that.
Lanny and I agree on something.
I actually thought it was ineffective.
Put this down on your calendar, baby.
I'm so flustered when I sound like I'm agreeing with you.
Well, yeah, I thought it was an effective ad. I expect more of them. But let me ask you this. You say you can run on the issues, and you brought up the stimulus package and the health care bill. Most Americans, majority of Americans, are not fans of Obamacare. And the stimulus package, well, you know, we're still waiting for all those jobs to be created. I'm not sure that most Americans believe the stimulus was worth it as well. So you really think he can win on those issues? And then you also said gay marriage. You think he's on the right side of that. It doesn't appear that's going to help him much at all either.
Not helping him in North Carolina, apparently.
Well, for sure, the health care bill, if it's properly explained to the American people and the more it gets rolled out, if you really were to talk to 85% rather than 15% of the people who are uninsured, and we talk to all you guys right now, you never have to go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow morning and worry that you're not going to have insurance. If you lose your job, if you are filing something because somebody's sick in your family, you never have to worry again. Obamacare should be sold in that respect. And I also think over a period of time, we're going to find insurance companies, when they're on these national exchange bidding against each other, are going to sharpen their pencils and lower insurance costs. So we'll see, but I've supported Obamacare, and really without having much time today. Right now, most of the country thinks we're going to be better. The economy seems to be getting better, and as Ronald Reagan proved, he came out of a deep recession in 1982. He made America take the tough medicine to get rid of the inflation and start to reduce unemployment. The trend line was such that he ran on Morning in America. I think there is a trend line that's going to favor President Obama. He did stop the hemorrhage, and he did turn things around. That's where I would be. I think it's a truthful statement.
Oh, the economy is an open question. I mean, when you look at the stock market, it's down almost 1,000 points from its not too long ago recent high.
Yeah, it's not the stock market, though. It's the economy. The trajectory during the Reagan years was much steeper than what we're seeing now with the economy improving. So, you know, I'm not sure that it's analogous.
It's a similar situation. I remember President Reagan inherited double-digit inflation and double-digit unemployment, and everybody who were Democrats say, why are you always talking about Jimmy Carter? Why don't you tell us what you're going to do? Well, he inherited a really bad hand, and he convinced America, even though unemployment was, I guess, in the 7%, not in the 8% range, he still convinced America that morning was coming, and I think that's Barack Obama's best case. He can't say the economy is great. You guys are right. There's a lot to worry about, especially out of Europe. But I think most Americans are fair. Obama's done a pretty good job, not a great job. But so far, Obama, at least Governor Romney hasn't proven to me he'd do a better job or has specific policy prescriptions that are better than Obama. And let's talk about the issues and not attack each other. I don't like the Bain ad. I don't like some of the stuff that I'm reading about Reverend Wright. This is not about attacking people personally. I want to know where they are on the issues. I want to know their solutions. And I promise you, if that's the great debate, whoever wins in November, then America wins.
All right, Lanny Davis, thanks for joining us as always.
I'm sorry I disappointed you in being so nice this morning. I'll do better next week.
I'm putting it on my calendar with a red star, a day that we actually